Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eagle. It's Sunday, March 21st, almost 11 o'clock at night. It's late, but I got to get this video out. I want to expose the CDC and Vaers for sitting on a huge inventory of unreported reports. I'm going to show you, I used last week's data, not this week's data, because I was working on it. I didn't want to have to reduplicate my efforts. So this is from based on last week's data, but I'm going to show you how based on the Vaers numbers, the lowest Vaers number for COVID is this number here, 902,440. And last week's data, the biggest Vaers number was 1074599, and you will see that the Vaers IDs numbers go in increments of one, but they're commingled with all the other vaccines that are in Vaers. So child vaccines, adult vaccines, so they're all commingled together, but the numbering system goes by increments of one. So let's jump in and I'll show you what I mean, and we'll analyze this a little further. So as you can see my data here, I'm looking at the first and oldest COVID person is this person here, recorded date received, supposedly December 15th. And the first day of the rollout was December 14th. So there you go. There's a couple here. Now notice that I have commingled everybody else, all the other vaccines as well, whether it's child or adult. And if I go to the bottom of the list, I just dropped all the way to the bottom. See, I'm down to row 37,890, which, the ID number there happens to be a COVID as opposed to anything else, a child or an adult vaccine. But notice that, let's see, the receive date last week. So last week when we was 312. So the data drop for 312 included supposedly, data up to 335. So 3-5 in the morning, technically we only had two ID numbers, two patients that actually had a date received of 5. So it wasn't up to and including 3-5. That's kind of a sleight of hand. They were short. It was basically, I was saying it was like a 6-day week. So with that being said, that's the data I'm going from. And if you notice, look at all these deaths right in order. Look, 812, 813, 814, 815, 816. Then the ID number jumped to this one, and then it kind of jumps around a little bit, but look at how many deaths there were. So it's like they had to shove these deaths. And look at this. I put over here, this is my lag. I put a little lag formula in there saying that, as an example, this one right here, the person died January 23rd, got his vax date on the 22nd, but it took all this long to barely issue him, to barely record it in the Vaers, the Vaers system, issue them an ID number, which is, a very new number, but they died in, January. So how long was that? Late January, February, I mean, a good month, actually 40 days. That's what the lag between the death date and the date that received basically means the date that they put it into Vaers and let the public see it. Um, there's some more egregious ones I will show you. I mean, I don't have to go very far. Let's see. I'm looking along this column here of the death date held for a long time. Look at this guy. This guy passed away on January 9th, yet they just reported it in that last drop for 3-5. That was held for 54 days. So it was real easy to come in and say basically they held, or the process time was a long time. I mean, maybe they ordered autopsies or whatever, but it's to say that look at when these guys died. Look at these two guys. These two guys, this little group right in here, 4 people. They died in December and they're just now reporting it. And look at these numbers: 28, 29, 30, 31, all in a row, all no state. So we don't know what state they came from. They all kind of have the same thing, same write up: unresponsive. A spontaneous report was received from Pfizer concerning a 43-year-old male patient who received Moderna's COVID. Notice that something happened in there. Somehow it was they received a Moderna vaccine, but somehow went to Pfizer's department, and then Pfizer maybe uh, bounced it back to Moderna or something. So they say both. So Pfizer and Moderna. So maybe that's what took so long. They kind of got lost in the shuffle there, but they finally reported them. But look at how many days. I mean, that's 65 days, 63 days that they sat on it and just now reported it. So that just begs the question, when do these VARS ID numbers get generated? They seem to get generated right before a data drop to the general public. But what happens when the general public reports their own adverse effect? And then do they get issued an ID number right there on the spot? I, maybe in that sense they do, because ID numbers relatively close to this batch here are like right next to it. And it didn't, this one got in, well, no, sorry, that not even that one, but there's some that seem to get like the vax date and then the report date is really close together. Um, so the process in which they receive, somebody registers the adverse effect to the time it actually gets processed and pumped out to the general public so we can see it. But right here, just looking at the ID numbers in order, numeric order, you can see that it's like as if they, in this data drop, they had all of these deaths that they were sitting on that they just had to finally push out. So now if I come back to the picture, what I realize is that okay, from this number 902440, that's like saying 900,000, 902,440, all the way to 1,074,599. That's a swing of 139,000 numbers. I've did the quick calculations, and I know that there's 31,000 VARS ID numbers for COVID. And I mean that's easy. That's this right here. So if I go if I go like this and I say, okay, just show me all the different COVIDs. Now there's even Janssen in there now, a few hundred of those. But then I do something like this, and I mean I can get the exact number down here in the corner. It says 30,989. That matches basically the new numbers, right? It's telling us right here. Oh, 39,000. So I'm close. I'm close. I don't want to go into the exact explanation of why there's slightly more, that I have slightly more, because I actually have the vaccines that are unknown calculated. I got everything in here. But anyways, so getting back to my calculations here, and there's an additional 2,000 numbers that are all the child vaccines and whatever adult vaccines that there are, like shingles and all of that other stuff. So altogether, there's actually about 33,000 current IDs in circulation, just from basically from 2020 to current. Um, so that means that there is a swing of about 139,000 other ID numbers that are not in circulation. Where are those? Give them the benefit of the doubt and say that, well, maybe they're in process. Maybe they're gonna come out, because obviously it looks like they can sit on something for 50 days or 46 days and then finally report it. Uh, so this is what I mean by the inventory. Now, um, I'm going to look at this. Currently, there's 800,000 IDs in all of Vaers from 1990 to 2020. See the uh, the database, the .mdb database. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to take the time here. Over here in the Vaers ID, there is this download the data, and you can download this monster, which I have, but it actually stops at 2020. That's what sucks. It doesn't go to current. It just stops. It just stopped at 2020, but it's a pretty big zip file. And I'm going to show you that I've downloaded it. Here it is. I open it. You have to open it in Access. You can't open it in Microsoft Excel. You can't open that file. And you can see it opens it pretty fast in Access. But the oldest Vaers ID is 25,000, and it's in 1990. 1990. And then you see down here, I'm looking at record one of 800,000, 809,000. If I just jump down to the bottom, you can see that, let's jump down to the bottom. There we go. That's the bottom. See the bottom, there's a couple in here that are actually 2021. See, it says January 7th, 2021. Basically, it stopped. I think it's even though it was reported in January 7th, the vaccine date was in 2020. I think that's what that is. But basically, you can see all other vaccines. So it started at 25,000 and there's 800,000. So just shy of 800,000 total IDs up to 2020. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here, that there's 800,000, and there's about 100,000 missing Vaers ID numbers in here, and Yeah, I forgot how I calculated that, but anyways, there's about 100,000. Um, and then as of 319, so just this last data dump that dropped on Friday. This is Sunday, so dropped on Friday the 19th. Now the number is up to, instead of 1,074,000, it's up to uh, 1,092,883. So those are the added, uh, and that's the highest number. And in there, there's commingled a little bit of child vaccines and adult vaccines. But regardless, I don't want to get off track. Just keep it apples to apples. So, so are 139,000 in process? Are they in process? Well, let me see. I'm going to go deeper in here. Let's just show everything. So what I did in the first part of this, in the first part of the numbers, is I populated the missing ID numbers in here. And then I gave it a fictitious receive date of Christmas 2020. But you can see in pink here that these numbers do not exist because they're still in process, or for some reason they're not using the number or something. There are some very big gaps of numbers that are missing, and I didn't populate the whole date, the whole database, but I just did everything up to receive date, basically 2020. I think I went into January 1st or January 2nd of 2021. But with that, I actually did a little pivot table so um, I can see where the gaps are, where the missing numbers are, and I'll show you how I did that. Is that for starters, every missing ID number, I gave it a value of 5, and every number that actually exists, I gave it a value of 2. So if I come back over here to my pivot table and my graph here, what I'm seeing is that every time there's a value of 5, I know that that is a missing number. I mean, just this one popped up. I know that this ID number 905219 that has a value that I gave it a value of 5 is missing. It's not in the database. So when I see a little gap together, like all orange like that, I know, hey, wait, that's a big gap of numbers. And conversely, the other side of it is when I see a gap like a shape like this, where everything's all twos and there's no gaps in here, that's a consecutive series of numbers. So let me start by going over here. Let me pick out one of these 90,052.30, 90,052.30, 90,052.30. Let me just come down here, 90,052.30. So let me keep coming down here. Let me get to 52, whoops, 52.30. Whoa, look at this big old gap. So that's 52.54, 90,052.30. That's this gap right here. So, and I wrote a note to myself, this consecutive gap of numbers where this number here on 12/21 905197, then no vaccine occupies any of these numbers until this next one, 90524 240. So that's 42 numbers of missing IDs. Are those still in process or what? Let's take one and let's go vet it and see what I get. Let's see, med alerts. Now I'm just showing all vaccines. It doesn't exist. Okay, let me go back over here. Let me go to this one that does exist. This one says it's a COVID Arkansas patient and a vax date of 12/19. All right, let's go back over here. Arkansas 12/19, right there. Alaska. Sorry, I don't know my acronyms for states. AK, Alaska. Thought it was Arkansas. Sorry, AR. Okay, 12/19. There it is. Okay, so I'm not BSing you. You know I'm an honest guy, but that's what I mean. There's these big old gaps of numbers. And so with the big old gaps in numbers, the taking very long time to process, show you these, very long time to process, and I'm just going to take the most egregious ones, like some of these over here, 65 days. Yeah, I think I showed you this one. This person died December 28th, or no, he died December 29th, yet they just barely reported it on, receive date of March 3rd. Let's go look at that one over here. Sudden death, right? But they just entered it on March 3rd. March 3rd. Man, that's a long time. And so there's the write up. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, look at these ones. I mean, right in the beginning, and it took them all the way till February 22nd to look at this one. This one was one of the first people, vax date 12/15, and they Puerto Rico. Look at that. Maybe it's because it's Puerto Rico in there. You know, this is a big operation or something, but I mean, gosh, it takes forever for them to actually report it. They reported at the end of February. We're sitting on it. So nobody had any idea about this until the end of February. That's what I'm talking about. So how random are these numbers? It seems like the registration of an adverse event then goes to like a central processing claims shop or something where they process it and then they bake the cake and then they give it to the public. So so yeah, how big is their playground? How big is their playground that that they're sitting on? Or why are these numbers missing? Um, these numbers just don't exist. I'm at the very top here. Um, and to study their let's go this area right here. I don't want to make it too long. It's already getting long. Let's see. 918-739 918-739 918-739 Sure was a more scientific way to do this, but I'm old school. Oh shit, what did I say? 918-738-73. Anyways, well, look at this is a big group right in a row. You can see it right here. That's what I was trying to say. 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, there's no 31. Oh, I didn't continue to massage in the missing IDs at this point. That's why, because it was really kind of a project there, but I caught most of them, all of them with that had a receive date in 2020. But you could see that basically they go in order, and not only that, but look at they're from all over the states, you know, from different states, you know, 45, and then right after that 47, and but the vac dates are slightly different. It's not like you know, that it's that precise where, yep, everybody that got a vac date. I guess maybe also it depends when the onset date is, and when maybe a person would say, well, no, 5 days later, you know, I started to go south, and now I'm going to record my adverse event. I don't, you know, so that could exist. You know, that has to affect the whole process. But anyways, these numbers, I'm circling the wagon. I mean, how is it that, especially with a date, you know that they're on top, they should be on top of the dates, because that, I mean, they should be on top of the deaths, because that's all everybody cares about. I mean, you know, I'm saying, hey, what about the permanent disabilities of people that are walking around slurring and half paralyzed now from strokes and seizures and stuff? But oh well. Um, you know, what did they do here? It's like they had to beat the clock to make sure that these got out, and then just shoved them out, and no, you know, hoping nobody would notice. I did notice in that in that in that they actually gave us, they didn't give us that many deaths, but even with that, they, for the amount of new cases, new adverse events, they didn't give us very many deaths. It's like they regulate how many they release to us, and um, so it went from, we got 7,365 new cases this week. Last week when we had 5,800 new cases, we got 259 new deaths, and then so this week we actually get, you know, how many, you know, 1,500 or so, whatever that is, more cases than the week before, but yet we get, you know, a lot less deaths. So they're kind of all over the place. And then, I mean, you know, you take this into consideration with how they how they release the deaths to us. It's like, look at all those old, you know, all these numbers right in a row. So, and they held them forever, not on top. So, wow, what are they really what's really in process? How big is this sandbox that they're playing in, that they allow themselves that time to bake the cake and then release the info to us? That is interesting. That's what I'm trying to point out. That's what I'm calling out. You know, everywhere I look, I do not, you know, more and more I look, the more and more I do not trust what these guys are doing. All righty, guys. Have a good day. Thank you very much. The Eagle is out. Man, almost a 30-minute video. All righty, you guys. God bless. Have a good night. Bye.